It's a pro. I'm giving tips. We're painting the dragons that never die. And this is the last, like today and then next week. Next week is the last episode of ToolBox, like dragons that don't die. So I have to have it ready to put together and finish by next week, Wednesday. There is no try. There is only do. So good evening or good afternoon or good morning or good whatever you are. And we'll get to it. How is everybody this afternoon? Barely awake? I'm barely awake. 3 p.m. is when my energy level starts to go meow. So it's a wonder I'm even talking cognizantly. Threads of Fate. Hello. Hello, Freestyle. Hello, Robin. Hey, Angie. Hey, Drifter. And Miss Imp. Yeah, I'm painting dragons. Just finished a turkey dinner, so yeah, you're falling asleep. Yes. Bored from self-exile. Yeah, I hear you, Drifter Comic. I actually did have to run into Reaper so I could get the dragon to bring it home to work on. But yeah, it's like we're still open, but we haven't had a case in Denton yet. So Denton County, yes, but not in Denton proper, as far as I know. Hey, Rings. So yeah, but I don't mind working from home. I actually like my setup here, since this is my my video setup for my Patreon also. So I like it. I like the amount of light I've got, a crap ton of it all around me. If only I could swivel my camera, you guys would be like appalled at the amount of light that I'm currently sucking up. But yes, hi Chris Air. Hey Jay. So yeah, so we're gonna do dragon, and I think I'm gonna do dragon's teeth and horns and eyeballs today. That's what I'm kind of in the mood to do. So that'll get him pretty much his body almost entirely done, except for his tail, which I'm only just going to have to finish when I put it on when I connect it all, when I build it. Is there a good blue triad? PC Mini. I was using well, actually, I am painting a half dragon rogue right now for my paint along on my Patreon, and I was using dragon blue highlighted with like the tropical, some of the bones blues and surf aqua. But I mean, otherwise, straight up blue triad would be sapphire blue, true blue, and sky blue, which is 90, 16, 90, 17, and 90, 18. And that's the straight up one. If you want a darker blue, then you could try out the ultramarine triad, which is 9187, 9188, and 9189. It's a blue with a bit of indigo shift to it, a little bit of a violet shift. And that would be a good one too if you want a darker blue. It's pretty vibrant, pretty saturated. Both of those actually are. Otherwise, there are some off blue triads as well, which are softer blues that aren't as bright. Yeah, Miss Imp, I hear you on that. You may have to mail it. I also have a commission that I don't want to deliver necessarily in person because it's an elderly person. Yes, Freestyle. I do think the light here is better than a closet. I think so. The closet puts me to sleep is the big problem because it's so dark. It's just these super like bright lights shining onto me. So being here at home is actually a bit of more of a mood lifter, I guess, because there's natural light. This is my most lighted room because I have the big window behind me, and then I've got big windows over there. So it makes me happy. Natural light makes me happy. So it feels open and awesome. Hey, Jedi Jared. But yeah, okay. Well, let's do some teeth and claws and all the stuff, shall we? Yeah, let's pop over into... Oh, let me disable the intro, Anne. Or we're going to get a paint splooge when we least expect it. All right. There we are. Yay! Teeth and claws. Hey, Nomad Zeke. Yeah, painting natural light is where it's at, Threads of Fate, I think. I really do like it. I've always had a problem with fluorescent lights just in general with getting headaches and things, so I much prefer natural light. And today it's actually like halfway kind of trying to be sunny before it hits us with more rain, I'm sure. So we will enjoy it while we can. Let's get my palette into frame. There we go. I want my straight palette because I get annoyed otherwise. There we go. If you were home, you'd be 100% asleep. I am home, but I cannot be asleep. I must paint dragons. haven't seen John. Justin, do you know if John is even at Reaper, or like I haven't seen John in our streams recently?
He is, but I think he's working on that contract
Oh,
with them.
right. Right, right. You mean the contract that never ends? You know,
Yes,
the contract that Bethesda keeps ordering thousands of models for? Because they just
that's the one.
can't stop, won't stop, apparently. The contract that Ed is now thoroughly, like, disgusted that he reactivated. For all I know, actually, Ed is A-okay with it. Especially because it really only takes a couple people, right? Like, is John doing, like, all the casting, all the cleaning, all the dipping and polishing?
Yes, he
Yeah, so
is.
it's a one-man operation.
Yeah, so it'll take him weeks to actually finish it.
For those who didn't know, Reaper has always made the miniatures for Doom, so there's a special box of miniatures that Bethesda contracted for, like, one of their early Doom games way back, like before I even started with Reaper, back in the 90s, wasn't it? And so some of those models were somewhat updated and revised, but Bethesda every once in a while contacts us and wants more of the set. And more of the set often translates into, correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, but thousands of boxes.
Uh, I don't think we put out that many, but
No?
we do. You know about
It's
actual individual box
hundreds.
sets?
It's hundreds of box
Yeah,
sets.
it is hundreds. Yes.
Yeah, and then there's several miniatures in each box. So, poor
So
John.
in this Eternal, for the Eternal release, for instance, it's not been nearly as many as it has been in the past. It's only been a couple of pallets worth at this point, or like 3 or 4 pallets worth, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. It hasn't been as many
Let
as
me
it
get this
has
in
been in the past.
focus. All right, well, that's good anyway. Because, I mean, the last time was pretty immense. I remember us having a Doom contract when I first came to, right shortly after we built the company, built the building right up where we work now in Denton. And the entire company had to stop for 2 weeks and work to get that contract out. So it was a pretty huge contract. We used to do a lot of video game company contracts. For a while, Reaper was the go-to person if you wanted to do a little pewter figure with your game's special release, collector's edition or whatever. But Ed has moved away from that as Reaper gets more and more busy because we just can't afford to take so much time to do them anymore. And we'd rather concentrate on our own stuff, so. But yeah, we've done miniatures for a lot of different things. Back in the day, we did EverQuest figures. Hey, Sean Allen. Hey, Kaz. Acrylic inks, I mean, they're kind of more like washes at that point, KSV Snow Owl. I haven't played with them a lot on miniatures. I've played with them on paper. You would want to work really fast, and you'd want to definitely work with them while they were wet. If you would let it dry in one area and then try to brush over it, you probably would get a demarcation line because they are somewhat transparent. But if you moved fast and you base coated all from like one section and kept going, so you're always working with a wet edge, you probably could use acrylic inks. But I mean, most people either use them for airbrushing or for washes. So if you use them as a wash, you could certainly use them with a brush. I would put some matte medium or something to thin them down a little bit to get the consistency you wanted. Other than that, I admit that I've had some acrylic inks for a while, but I just don't think they're terribly useful, so I have not played with them very much. I think if you want saturated colors, you can go for the clear brights, and if you want thinned colors, then it makes sense to use them for an airbrush. But as for using them as regular paint, I'm not sure why you would. Hello, Arcane Void. His Anatorium. Yeah, they can be expensive on the secondary market. Now that Bethesda's selling them again, I don't know that has really held up. For a while, they were tremendously expensive on the secondary market. And maybe the original boxes still are. Because video game paraphernalia definitely has a collectory thing going for it. So I'm base coating with a mix of russet brown and stained ivory. russet brown, if you recall, I had actually used on my previous dragon, so I'm just trying to be consistent. I'm actually going to mix up some blue liner because I see some spots between his teeth where I missed it. I actually, KSB Snow Owl, I don't think, I didn't prime my, you guys are so lucky that I've been working from home so much. Hold on, translucent mini incoming. I lost my earplug. I'm just a train wreck this afternoon. So, okay, KSB Snow Owl. I did not prime this model. Like, there. So this is the Water Weird, and all the paint that you see on him, including his mouth and his eyeball and his little, like, surf highlights on his thing, and his little shading here with clear blue. I think it was clear phthalo. All that, and the little, like speckles for the foam and everything, I just painted on him. I did not prime him. I did not prep him. The only thing I did was what I do with every single Bones Mini I ever do, which is wash him in hot water with a bit of dish soap, rinse him, and let him dry overnight. I did not find it necessary to do any other prep on him to get the paint to stick. It's still Bones. It's just a different type of Bones, so you should be able to paint right on it. Otherwise, the only way you're going to keep the translucency of a Bones, if you're going to prime it, is to use a gloss coat, and that's not going to work because paint won't stick to the gloss coat. If you use a matte coat, you're going to get a frosted effect. You're going to immediately lose all the transparency that you have. So best, in my opinion, best practice, just wash the model with soap, with a little bit of dish soap and hot water, and rinse it well and let it dry, and you should be able to paint right on it. So that is my 2 cents about transparent miniatures and my demonstration of the fact that, yes, indeed, you can do it. And it looks good. Ta-da! Haha! I have all these models that I can just grab and throw in front of you all to, answer questions. It's great. All right, blue liner. Need to touch up this dragon's mouth. I thinned with water. That's all I ever do, KSB. Like, on occasion, I thin with our brush-on sealer. So if you wanted more translucency, you could do that. You could add a little bit of our brush-on sealer. It should still work great. All right, blue liner. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I know a lot of people are kind of baffled by the translucent ones, but they're still Bones. You can paint them just like Bones. So the only question is where you're going to keep your translucency and where you're going to paint stuff on it. Hello, Kerniko. That's okay. Better late than never. Let's see here. Do I have a light? I have a light. There we are. Much better. Alrighty. So I'm going to touch up some spots that I missed. Although I may go back and undercoat this tongue with white before I put color on it. We'll see. I might actually go fine with runic purple. So I missed some spots on the inside of the mouth, so I'm just going to touch those up with my blue liner. Since I'm keeping the blue liner in the spots between the teeth to make them stand out. But I don't want any white. I don't want any Bones white showing through. And I always start with a brown color for bone and teeth and claws. Unless I'm doing like blue-black claws with just a highlight, like so they're very black. Then I might do different, but then I'll just keep my blue liner pretty much. But for teeth, I tend to not like that look. It can be hard to make black teeth look correct or look good. So I tend to paint teeth normally, even if claws are dark. Similar to dogs who have black toenails a lot of the time, but still have white teeth. You can totally do that. You do not have to paint your teeth and claws the same way. Hey, Jeffrey. Alrighty, and I won't worry about the rear side of the teeth that much, but I do try to hit them with the brown, at least, so that anybody looking inside the mouth will at least see that the tips are a different color than the inside of the mouth. Let's see here. Doo-doo-doo. There we go. We have some teeth. Holding off on the gardening. Oh, tomatoes. That's ant poison, Twistedoma. If you ever want to, like, you know, put me in extreme distress, mix tomatoes secretly into something I'm eating. Please don't put me in extreme distress, though. It's a very bad idea. I'm such a cheerful person. You'd hate me to not be cheerful. See, I'm the opposite in the Incredible Hulk. My motivation is not that you don't want to make me angry. It's just that you do want to keep me cheerful. Hey, sequel. Alrighty, so we've got some nice brown. Do I want to do that on the horns too? Yeah, I may as well be consistent. Let's do that. So I'll take my happy brown here. No tomatoes of any kind. Yeah, tomatoes are a bad idea for me. I don't really miss them, though. Since I identified that they were one of my gastric upset triggers, I find that I'm perfectly fine without them. I never understood the people who, like, find out they have a health issue and then immediately try to have the thing that they can't have instead of focusing on, you know, the things they can have. That never made sense to me. With me, it's like, if it's your health, I don't care how much you miss tomatoes, just, like, you know, suck it up. Suck it up and find other things that you love to eat. But then I'm kind of a pragmatist, so.
Yeah, but I was allergic to crab at one point, and that was hard.
Dude,
I love crab.
Dude, but you can find other things to eat that you love, right? That's one thing in a huge number of possible foodstuffs.
Yeah, but I mean, it also includes like shrimp, basically all shellfish, right? And
It depends. Because I thought the shrimp bacteria is different. Yeah, okay.
I couldn't have crab, crawfish, shrimp. I could eat mussels and clams, and I could eat scallops.
Scallops are tasty. So that's close enough for me.
I loved scallops. I still love scallops.
Yeah, scallops are awesome. I actually was looking at the store, hopefully, to see if they had good-looking scallops, but the scallops did not look awesome, so I was like, nope. So I'm supposed to eat a lot of shellfish on this new diet. Yeah, I mean, I thought I would miss salsa Nomad Zeke, but I just replaced it with guacamole, so, you know, I kind of think I upgraded. But again, that's just Anne's attitude. I tend to take a look on the bright side attitude. Because if you can't control it, I've always wanted to live till I was 100, though, and be in good health. So for me, that's my health is a big motivator, and I'll do any dietary change I have to get there. So. That's right. I want you guys to be watching me paint for the next 50 years at least. So I'm going to be a 100-year-old lady streaming painting. That would make me super happy. I bet I'd be super popular too. All these like silly kids like coming tuning in to watch a little old lady paint, and I'd still blow their socks off. Yeah, exactly, Xanatorium. When it makes you feel bad, it's pretty easy to, you know, quit when it comes down to it. Do 100,000 channel points. Whoa. Yeah, food allergies. Yeah, sometimes a dietary change can help with that. I don't know what her typical, what her allergies are or anything, Jeffrey Higgins, but autoimmune response diet does have a very high impact on it. I learned that when I got diagnosed with Crohn's. Yeah, I'm on a keto high veggie diet, Sig Wolf right now, and I'm just fine. But then I've had 2 years to develop it, and so essentially I've learned how to make cookies and muffins that are really low carb and still taste awesome. Um, so that was my defense mechanism. I learned to cook and bake better out of self defense, because I'm like, all right, I can't have this anymore, but I still want something like it. So can I make something like it that doesn't suck? And then so on. Oh, crab pizza sounds fantastic, Internet John. I like almond flour crusts for pizza a little bit better than cauliflower. Most of the cauliflower crusts still have grains mixed in with them. I have an almond flour crust from, I can't remember, it's a company that I found at Sprouts that does a lot of almond flour stuff. And I like that. I'm thinking about trying to make my own pizza crust. I can't have tomatoes, but I can have olive oil and Parmesan, so. Although I'm changing all my cheeses over to goat and sheep's milk cheeses for the most part because I always have had a slight reaction to dairy and I just don't want to go there. Oh, yeah, eggs. That's interesting. I wonder what it is with that. I wish doctors got more dietary background. Like, they don't get much dietary training at all. You almost want to go... You know it's an autoimmune thing, you just don't know, like, where to go. Yeah, unfortunately I don't like Alfredo sauce, so white sauce pizza is not where it's at for me. I'd rather use pesto or an olive oil. Olive oil plus cheese. And I have a basil plant behind me that I have to slaughter before I move, so you know. Maybe that'll just become pizza. That actually sounds like a good idea now that I've said it. There are all sorts of pizza variants. I was never that into pizza, though, even in college, so even though I've had these pizza crusts in my freezer for a while, I just haven't made pizza. I usually prefer, like, baked fish or chicken or steak or scallops. So I've cut back on the chicken and steak. I did roast a duck this past weekend, and not only did I get about a cup or 2 cups of tasty duck fat, I got extra duck meat. So I made mushroom and duck risotto last night, which is one of the tastiest things on the freaking planet, in my opinion. My only sad is that I'm moving, so I probably won't be able to use all my duck fat, and I didn't make duck broth either, which because that would be unmovable. So now what I'm doing on the teeth, yeah, it is Istis, I agree. Except for the basil plant, I don't want to get attached. So what I'm doing with the teeth is I'm just pretty much doing brush strokes to kind of make like striations, because teeth, you know, if you look at teeth, they've kind of got the roots and the pieces kind of going down toward the tip. So this helps to give you a little bit of variance of color in the teeth without doing a lot of work. So just doing a little bit of striping, and the thinner stripes you can get on bigger models, the better. With little teeth like this, I get very simple, and I don't stripe really at all on these teeth. I just locate the highlights more toward the tips where there'd be wear. So I'm going up to creamy ivory here from stained ivory, and stained ivory plus russet brown. So that leaves the roots of the teeth darker and makes the tips of the teeth stand out more. And I could go all the way up to pure white if I wanted to on these teeth. I'm going to go to the bottom, get the bottom of his mouth done. Yes, duck fat and duck meat are like awesome. And thanks, Watansky. This is my latest dragon that goes on the Dance of Dragons, and we're almost done. We're almost done. We have to be done by next Wednesday. Yeah. I know allergies are crazy. Like the human so many of our diseases nowadays are caused by weird immune responses, and I wish there was more like research into not just like which drugs to give you to make that less prevalent, but also, why does this stuff happen? That would be really useful to know, science. Unfortunately, there's a lot more money in big pharmaceuticals than there are in, trying to tackle it through like, diet, lifestyle, or trying to figure out what in the environment triggered you to get your condition. Because almost everything is a genetic predisposition for like a very small amount of it, plus a crap ton of environment. I did a lot of reading on this stuff since I was diagnosed with weird stuff. They're not even really sure it's Crohn's because I presented oddly and at a weird time of life, but it sure looks like some sort of thing like that, so. But yeah, lately I've been trying to tackle it with diet. Oh yeah, potatoes and duck fat, except I'm not permitted to have potatoes because they're way too carby, HM Road Dog. However, that said, sweet potatoes in duck fat are also awesome, and I am permitted to have sweet potatoes because they have more resistant starch and not as many carbs. And also a lot less plant toxins than potatoes. Potatoes being members of the nightshade family, you will recall, same as tomatoes, which we just discussed. There we go. We got some teeth. Interesting, Jeffrey. That's very interesting. Yeah, Crohn's is not a joke. They don't know if mine is Crohn's or if it's a form of IBS or whatever, but I'm just pretty much trying to tackle it any way I can. My surgeon is the surgeon who diagnosed me is actually hugely into diet and using it as treatment, one of the few. So I got lucky with her, and that's why I went gluten-free and eventually why I went keto. And I'm still doing a slightly different version of said thing today. All right, there's some teeth. Rawr, nice teeth. And they really stand out against the black gums, which are actually blue liner gums, but who's counting? So let's do our... There. Oh yeah, that's terrible stuff, Sigwolf. It's bad, bad stuff. Yeah, genetics and environment, yep. And it's not as genetic. People think that it's mostly genetics, but actually it's just a little bit. I was just reading a book about multiple sclerosis, which is also an autoimmune disorder. They're pretty sure they've identified like 50 different genes that contribute a tiny bit toward whether you get MS or not. But it's inconsistent, and every gene just appears to contribute a tiny bit. It's not like the main cause, so it seems like very likely that a lot of the causes are genetic, be it like diet or, toxins or something, or, whatever is triggering that response. It's very interesting stuff. They think a lot of autoimmune disorders may have similar roots, because it's always your cells trying to attack you, right? So making the wrong judgment call on what to attack. It manifests in different ways and in different areas of your body. And so yeah, it's rough. I have great sympathy for anybody with chronic disease, especially since I got one, so... And for a long time, it took me a long time to figure out how to control my symptoms optimally too, and get to a point where I was happy with both my diet and my results, my day to day. Getting the awesome horns. I'm doing streakies on the horns too. Here we go. Got it. Sorry. Oh, I hate that Panthera onca. So what I'm doing is pretty much doing what I did with the teeth, only I'm just, she's sculpted kind of lines in the horns like striations, so I'm painting along those striations. I'm probably going to do a glaze of the russet brown mixture that I've got here, russet brown and stained ivory, to kind of make these look a little less streaky and a little bit more integrated. But whether you would do that is just up to you, whether you like the style or not. So just trying to get this last little line kind of sketched in. But Julie sculpted this pattern onto the horns, so I'm just following it. Probably leave it stronger on the top. Let's see here. So let's do a little bit of a glaze. Boop. Glaze. And I just want to make these kind of go together a little bit better, make it look like it's less stripes. Remember, you want to apply a glaze very thinly. You don't want it to pool, so you want to take off any excess you've got. So the point here is to integrate the pattern into the horns without losing the pattern and then putting further highlights on. Yeah, Drifter Comic, I mean, we hoped so too, right? Yeah, I wanted to integrate Threads of Fate because I was getting a little bit too much of stripes going on. And I wanted less stripes. I wanted it more to look like everything was kind of, together. So I'm going to wait for this to dry, and I may decide to do another one just because I want it, to look more like an integrated horn. But yeah, we have no idea what the world's going to look like in September, right? It's crazy enough to try to think about what it's going to look like in April. I'm still hoping my moving company wants to move my stuff, right? We have backup plans for everything. But with all the flights that were just canceled by the airlines, which is nice, I might get a refund for my Chicago flight to Adepticon that I'm not using. But David's probably not going to fly down here anymore. He's going to meet me halfway instead. So it's affecting everything. Here, I'm just glazing just a little bit more. There. And I think the horns look a little bit more integrated. I didn't want them to look too stripy. The blue liner, because the base is blue liner, if I had used brown liner, it would have been easier to kind of get this brown to mix, to kind of blend in with it. But because it was blue, it was just giving me a very different read, and I didn't like the starkness of the stripes on the horns, so I decided that I wanted to do a different way. So now I can go back in and take some of my highlights up. I'm going to leave a shadow here. There's actually a recess in the horn. So I'm mostly going to hit the top and leave a shadow under that shelf and then hit the bottom a little less bright. I'll just do that, and then I'm going to get the next highlight up, which is Creamy Ivory. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that ReaperCon will be just fine. So we canceled all of our other travel this year. We left ReaperCon on the board. So obviously everybody hopes that it's like when we're seeing a little bit of a regression of all this stuff and we can actually have fun again. That would be nice. Because, we've got all this time to paint entries for the Master Series Open and actually hit the 1,500 model goal that I taunted Michael Proctor with. So, get to it, guys. For that reason alone, ReaperCon should go on. And watch, he'll be like, sure, Anne, that sounds great. You judge them all. Except my judging team is one of the fastest judging teams, so I bet we could do it. Good, Drifter Comic. Yeah, that was fun. I was there just for a little bit, but I was there. Ah, nice. Essential personnel have to be there. Yep. Yeah, I'm not. I'm pretty okay with working from home. I actually find that I'm really productive here because there's not as many distractions, which sounds counterintuitive. Usually, you'd think it would be a different thing, but I'm packing up so much of my life that really my painting desk is my painting desk and my kitchen are the two things that are still intact. I'm gonna do some stripy things on the top of the horns, and I like him. Rawr, he says. Yeah, that makes sense that if you're working in the airline industry, there's still planes in the air, so they still need flight control personnel and everybody to keep those planes safe. So totally makes sense. And they haven't canceled all flights, just a large percentage of them, depending on airline, from what I was reading earlier. So far, everybody at Reaper is essential personnel. All right, let's get these other teeth going on, and then we'll do some eyeballs. What time is it, Justin?
It is 3:40.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, my phone is in my pocket, so I can't just tap it to see the time. We'll put some nice orangey red eyes on this guy, just like the other guy. I don't want to imply that any dragon is more evil or good than the other one, so I'm being consistent on certain aspects of their personalities. Oh, we should do the mouth on this guy, too. The tongue. I have pretty pink colors picked out for his tongue, so. Doo-doo-doo. Mm-hmm. For these little teeth, really all you're doing is just hitting every part of them except for their very lowest roots, just to start picking them out. We're just assuming for this particular world that dragons do not have dentists, so the roots of their teeth are kind of sad. I'm sure that in some fantasy worlds dragons do have dentists, but not in this one. Hey, we're doing okay. We're doing okay for Evernight. A little bit of scrambling around since Justin's got a cough, and so we decided to stream everything from home today. Since Reaper's official stance is, if you are sick, you should stay home and not plague the rest of us, which is a very wise stance. I did see Ed briefly today, and he appeared to be feeling better, so. And apparently they're letting Victoria out of the country, Justin.
Out of the country for what?
She's going home before more flights close down and she can't get back to Australia. Yeah. So her initial flight had pretty much told her, so we're not going and you're not going home. And so then she had to scramble because then the airlines announced that they were cutting 50 or 60% of flights across various airlines. And then with everything happening and Australia being very paranoid about it, they were just afraid that they would she'd not be able to get home. So she's going today. Victoria of Victoria Miniatures, for those who didn't know, she kind of uses Reaper as a remote HQ when she's in the country, and she was originally here for Adepticon and to talk to her 3D printer who is in here in the States. But Adepticon got canceled, and she already made her trip to Utah, so she decided to evacuate, which is smart. She has elderly parents and a dog at home, so she didn't want to get stuck in the USA for some long period of time. Yeah, HMR dog, I hear you. Yeah, that seems to be the thing that people are doing. That as soon as a confirmed case at a business is discovered, then it closes for a period of time. That seems to I've heard that a couple times now. That seems to be the protocol people are considering. Am I still on? Yeah, good. All right. Just gonna map in my little horns here. So I'm gonna have to do some work, a little bit of work on this guy off stream to get him and his brother ready for construction next week, so that I can turn him in and be done with him. After, when did we start this, Justin? A long time ago.
Oh gosh, 30. This is the 36th episode, so we started at 35 ago.
Okay, so 35 weeks, and then didn't we didn't do it a couple weeks, didn't we? I don't remember. Yeah, there were a couple things like Koala Week.
Yeah, we had tried go in a couple of times. It wasn't consistently. Like,
right.
There were
So
a handful of missed episodes.
So probably about 3/4 of a year, I'm gonna guess. Something like that since I started. I don't know, what was the date of the first episode, I guess. Except I was doing other stuff. I wasn't always doing the dragons, did I? Or did I always do the dragons?
Correct. No, you always did the dragon.
Okay, it was the other one that I was doing different things for. All right, that makes sense. Hey there, Fraley. Yeah, we're doing. Hey, Screaming Biscuit, thanks for the sub. Hey, Justin, what are we giving away today? What size brushes do I usually use? Oh, go ahead. For giveaways.
I was gonna do some more Reaper memorabilia since we have that and we don't give it away very often.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like mouse pads?
Correct. So like hats. It's pretty much it's a hat, a mouse pad, and a sticker typically.
Oh, cool. That works. There we go. We got some horns going on, getting on. So yeah, I was doing the water horse a couple episodes. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Is some of our promotional stuff definitely took over. That was during the Bones Kickstarter that I did the water horse instead, I think. But yeah, so great. Okay, cool. Then we should definitely do stuff. Somebody asked about my brush size. I tend to use larger brushes, but very fine points. So usually the Da Vinci's I like are a size 1, so they're quite long. I have been known to use as small as, say, a Reaper Aught 5 or a Winsor Newton Series 7 double aught. The smallest brush I would ever consider would be a Reaper Aught 10. That anything smaller than that is just not useful, in my opinion. I would say that my normal comfort zone when I'm not dealing with the Da Vinci that I love, which is a 1, is usually around a 00 size. Or, depends. All brush companies have different sizes. Okay, let's see here. Let's do some eyeballs. Let's undercoat with white because I want them to be glowing red, just like his brothers. Probably need a little bit more of a stronger white here. I thinned it down just a wee bit too much. Oh, it's Green Users. Hey, Julie. Here's your baby. He's coming along. I'm about to give him an eyeball. Next week, Julie and Bob, is the last week for this, so they will be ready to be put together and have final touches done on them by that point. Because I need to turn them in before I leave the state. So be sure to tune in next week. I'll be streaming from home like I am now if I can't stream from Reaper. No, I've never used blacklight paint on minis with Tainsy. I just, if you're going to do it, it's pretty much, you'd want to probably do it in a diorama where you had a blacklight set up to glow, to be cast on it. Otherwise, there's just so little usage of blacklight. You don't only ever get to enjoy it at Halloween. So yeah, I've never used that stuff. Yeah. Let's see here. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Bob and Julie there. It's fun, right? And you've gotten to see almost every step because I mostly haven't been painting them off camera. Although now I'm going to have to make sure they're done next week. So who knows? The dragons might temporarily take over another stream next week. Like if I don't get them like totally set by like Monday or Tuesday, I might have dragons invade the morning stream. All right, so eyes painted in. Got a little bit still there. All right, so we're underpainting with the eye in white. Hi, Mini Knife. So that when I put a red over it, it's going to be extremely bright. And I'm going to use clear red. Oh, where is my clear red? There it is. Doo-doo. Clear red, the brightest eyeball screaming red we have. And by putting it over white, it will make it brighter. If I had tried to put it over the blue liner, it would definitely not be very bright. And I want this eyeball to stand out. So I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to grab my, let's see here, where'd my sunrise orange go? There it is, sunrise orange, which I'm going to use for a highlight. Yay. Which is a nice bright orange. If you have clear orange works great also, if you have that Reapercon color. If you don't have clear orange, sunrise orange is close enough to a very vibrant saturated orange. All right, gonna get my clear red and paint it shockingly brightly over that eyeball. Got a little bit too much on there, so I rinsed out my brush, and now I'll go back and fill in the eye with the paint that I put on there. And a little bit more. And I'm leaving that dark line around the eye so that it sets it off. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to tell where the eyeball started as easily. Thanks, Human Aqua. Yeah, everybody's getting a little bit cabin fever these days. My parents are just writing to me because I'm going to stop and see them on my way out to California next month, and my dad has stopped golfing, which means that both of them are pretty much sitting at home much of the day. So I'm glad I sent my mom a really, really frustrating puzzle for Christmas, because at least she's got something to keep her busy. You know, it's more like we all have a slight shadow like cast by our lids, and a little bit of a dark line like between the white of our eye and the reddish skin right under our eye. So really it's just like you're kind of implying that stuff. If I was being really realistic and this was a big bust, then this lower line here would be a dark red instead of the liner. But because this dragon is 28 millimeter and not huge, I can't really get away with that, so I'm just leaving it as a shadow. On something like Maldrakar, you could do realistic eyes. Those are huge. All right, let's get some orange together. You could do yourself a goth club dragon if you want, or a pretty princess dragon if you want. Maybe this dragon is angry because the other dragon implied that he was wearing eyeliner and thought it was like a sissy thing, you know. And that's why he attacked him. Like, that could totally be a thing. Don't you think so, Justin? Just say yes. Yes. Alrighty. Let's see here. So that's nice and bright, and that's orange highlights looking pretty good. Maybe want some yellow though. Sometimes you just need that little bit of extra yellow to really pop a red glowing eyeball. So lantern yellow it is, 9407. Get a little bit of that out here. That's true for Evernight. A little bit of reflection, right? Actually, yeah, there is KSB Snow. It's the golden skin tones. It's 90, 91, 90, 92, and 90, 93. So the shadow of it, 9091, is quite dark, and I was thinking more Mongol. But you could also use it for a tan to Asian skin tone. And then if you want really pale, then start with golden skin, highlight up with golden highlight, and then go up to like linen white for a very, very pale Asian skin. And you can, if you want the middle of the road, then, you know, do like golden skin, do a wash or shading with golden skin shadow to take it down just a little bit in appropriate places, and then go and highlight it with 9092. Or 9093, sorry. Golden skin highlight. But I think they're actually quite good for golden skin. I used to use them on, there we go. I used to use them on when we did the Legend of the Five Rings license. That was right around when I formulated them, and I used them on those. So there, KSB Snow Owl, I have exactly what you need. But yeah, golden skin equals Asian skin. We just didn't want to give it like a country origin type of thing, because there are lots of like that sort of skin tone in fantasy worlds as well. So we didn't want to be specific. Popping eyeballs. Futurable, yeah, boink. No, this dragon is not in danger of having his eyeball popped out by me, but there you go. He's got a glowing red eyeball. He definitely looks furious. When I'm looking for a more bestial dragon, I'm not trying to give it a ton of personality. I tend to just go for the glowing eye, and because otherwise, if you give it a rounded pupil, it almost always looks like a good dragon, quote unquote. And if you give it a snake eye pupil, it tends to look evil. So this way, I can keep it ambiguous, and also use the eye as a color accent, because it's much larger if I don't put a white in it or a pupil. Yeah. Okay, good. Yay, we're all caught up. So there we go. There is Mr. Dragon. I guess I was going to do... Oh, yeah, I was going to do his mouth. What time is it, Justin?
We're sitting at 3:51.
All right, I have time to do a tongue. We're going to use Runic Purple because we used that on his brother dragon, if you will recall. And we're going to use some very pretty pinks after that, because, you know, if he's got eyeliner, he's going to have pretty pinks. So I'm thinking that we go up with Runic Glow, and then we use Milani Rose on top of it. And if there is any more feminine color than Milani Rose, I want to know what it is. It's such a pretty pink. I love it. All right, so let's get his tongue purple. And also the dragon, his wings have purple. Have this runic, his or her wings also have runic purple. So I'm going to just paint. Again, I'm going to leave the dark color between the teeth, and I'm going to be very careful not to paint over the teeth. I'm just going to try to get the tongue. I see a little place where I missed a spot and have some white that I don't want, so I'm going to fix it. Yeah, the Runic Glow is really good over Runic Purple. There's a reason that they have a similar name. Make a note. There we go. I've got a little bit of white there that just was hanging out. Not where it belongs. There we go. Excellent. Indeedy. Bloop. Alrighty, and if I want to accentuate the shadow down the middle of the tongue, then I'm going to bring some blue liner in, because I notice I have kind of a faded spot there. And if I wet blend a little, I'm not going to mind. Probably want to leave it a little darker back toward the back of the mouth anyway. So if I get kind of a natural wet blended shadow down there, that's fine. Rawr. So now from there, make sure that I've still got a solid coat of my Runic Purple on here. Before I go on highlighting it. There and there. Boop. All right. Runic Glow, which is an awesome pinky purpley color, will be our first highlight. He's a dragon. He can have an unusual tongue color. Some dogs with black tongues, like Chow Chows, kind of get a purplish tone on their tongue, though not as bright fluorescent-y pink as this. So I don't feel like I'm that far off. And I'm just going to highlight like the part where it bulges out here. It's probably where it's going to catch the light, and also the tip of it. So mostly I'm going to do that, just the edge, just a little bit. I'm not going to hit really the middle of the tongue at this point. I'm going to leave that the purple and dark. Just want a little bit of extra pop on the edge of the tongue. Can hit a little bit there. All right. A little bit of runic glow. All right. How does pasta absorb water? I think the gluten absorbs it, doesn't it? Although I guess that doesn't work because gluten-free pasta also kind of absorbs water, but not as much. So it's got to be something else that's absorbing the water. Although the gluten probably plays a factor. All right. Milani Rose, one of the prettiest pinks ever. I agree. Pasta is confusing. I've stopped eating it, so. For the most part. Technically, I could have the bean-based pasta if I wanted to, or the rice-based pasta.
By the way, the hashtag free is open. We're going to be giving away 3 sets of those Reaper things.
Mousepad, hat, and sticker, or something like that. All right, so hashtag free if you want the giveaway, peeps. Hashtag free. I know we're all accustomed to me not giving away things, but we're making an exception. I'm just going to put a couple of little dot highlights because you know our tongues have a pebbly texture. So I'm just going to dot a little bit with the edge of my brush on the tongue to make it look like it's a little pebbly. Like it has a little tongue texture going on. And on the tip as well of the tongue. I added a couple of little dots there. So there. So now our purple-tongued dragon is a happy little dragon. Or an angry little dragon, depending on how you choose to see him. Yeah, that's true. Starches do absorb water. Good point, Dabber. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So we got his face pretty much blocked in, at least on one side today. And I got to talk about eyeballs and about teeth and horns and about purple tongues, which is awesome. So I'm pretty happy with that. Thanks, Twisted Oma. I'm glad. That's why I'm here. That's why I like to stream, because I like to just throw knowledge at you guys, and eventually it absorbs. It sticks. Though you should all go and paint after you watch me on stream, so that you can try some of this stuff. Do we have enough hashtag freeze? I see only 44 people in the hashtag freeze.
We'll give people just another minute or two.
Go play Borderlands, Nomad Zeke. Which character are you playing in Borderlands 3? Alrighty. Still freeing. 55. Amara with your sister and Flack. Okay. I played the other guy, the gun guy with the clone. I can't remember his name. Zane? Zane. I played Zane and had a good time solo. Amara seems pretty powerful too. Cool. Cool, Jeffrey. That's a good model. I like the Sasha Dubois model. I kind of always wished we did it in like a 54. Yeah, David and I played through it, so. It was fun. It was one of the first games we played together. And then we played every other Borderlands because we needed more stuff to play.
All right, Miss Ann, you want to draw our winners here?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's rock it. Here, let's go back to Facecam. Boop. Facecam. So I can look at you all and say, yay, it's the afternoon. That means the day is almost over. And it's Wednesday, which means we're over the hump of the midweek, which means it'll almost be the weekend soon, guys. Which means I have so much to do. I have so much packing to do. Oh my god. It's just, I'm dying here. Ah.
All right, I just drew our 3 winners.
Alrighty.
Our 3 winners are toresean, Threads of Fate 42.
Oh, Threads of Fate, you won!
And beechnuts.
And beechnuts, which has, that's a great name. Every day is the weekend now. Not quite. I still have to work.
Want to go ahead and let them know what
oh yeah, you should email giveaways@reapermini.com. You should give Justin or whoever is on the other side of that email your name, your screen name on Twitch, just as it appears in chat, and the address for us to send your stuff to. You could give them your real name too if you wanted, but I'm sure the stuff will get there as long as it has your proper address. Alrighty, congrats everybody.
All right, Miss Ann.
Alrighty.
I have a raid set up for us. We're going to be raiding Motor City Ray.
Oh, yay! Motor City Ray.
Formerly Vanquisher.
Yep. He came in and introduced himself at Paint Club, I believe. Or no, there was a different person who did that. That's right. Reaper is My Addiction came in and introduced himself and then refused to tell me who he was now. But that's okay. That's all right. So sweet. Congrats, winners, and get ready for the raid. And I will see you all tomorrow morning when we will be painting something. I don't know. I've got all these models to paint. I'll figure out something. We will paint something tomorrow. That's my promise to you. Tomorrow morning at 11. And then I guess we'll see how the rest of the day goes because Justin is stuck at home unless he gets better. So we might have weird streamage for the next couple days. Keep an eye on our social media. Okay?
Thankfully Collins said that because his foreign exchange student is out of school because school's delayed.
Yeah.
He can actually take care of the streams tomorrow.
Sweet.
And Friday.
Awesome.
So I don't have to on the fly train anyone. So
oh, that's so good. So Sadie's Painting Platinum will be on, and you and I can stream from here in the morning. Yeah. And all right, yay! Yes. All right, guys. I will see you later. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day. I'm gonna pop.
Yes. Spread the Reaper love. Keep being awesome. And thank you guys for coming on out.